between 4 to 12 million metric tons of plastics are introduced into our world's oceans every single year. And if we don't do something about it, that number is projected to increase 3 times within the next 20 years. Water pollutants are irresponsibly or unknowingly discarded into our world's oceans every year. After extensively researching the effects of pollution on our aquatic ecosystems, we've discovered a few ways we as a society can help our oceans. We have the power to correct the wrong done from the pollution of our oceans by improving our local waste management to help prevent waste from ending up in our oceans, by increasing restoration efforts after natural disasters to help keep our oceans clean, and by improving our organization's plastic waste management. To begin, poor waste management refers to the improper disposal of waste, often caused by poor recycling practices, illegal dumping, and unmanaged landfills. Inefficient waste management harms the oceans by destroying habitats, altering migration patterns, and directly harming marine animals. People contribute to poor waste management in many ways, litter being the most popular. When people litter, it degrades and puts chemicals and microplastics into the environment. For example, cigarette butts can contain chemicals like arsenic and formaldehyde, which these chemicals can make their way into the soil or even bodies of water. In fact, Texas Disposal Systems says 60% of water pollution is attributed to litter. Another example of poor waste management would be illegal dumping. Improper disposal of waste can lead to contamination in the ocean. Fertilizers, pesticides, and oil from farms seep into the ground after it rains, trailing into streams, rivers, and then ultimately into the ocean. This encourages algal blooms to clog up waterways, causing a meadow of seagrass, kelp beds, and entire ecosystems to die. In the words of Marine Bio, all major bays now contain dead zones from pollution runoffs. To address the inadequate waste management, we can make several changes. The first one being proper recycling. We can educate more people on what to recycle and where. This includes not recycling things that are stolen on credit cards, as these things can be harder to recycle in jam recycling machines. Absolutely no plastic bags, as these bags can be ingested or entangled by animals that can lead to possibly hurting or killing them. According to San Diego Coastkeeper, plastic bags kill over 100,000 marine animals each year, mainly sea turtles. But that doesn't exclude other animals. The same article says thousands of birds swallow them and die as well. Next, we can make stricter laws and regulations on illegal dumping. The majority of illegal dumping takes place where offenders won't be caught. This includes abandoned vacancies, dark and low security spaces. So to prevent illegal dumping, we can clean up dump sites and vacant places. We can also install cameras to help stop this problem. We can do stuff day to day to prevent water pollution, but what do we do when something we can't stop from occurring happens? We can't control natural disasters, but we can mitigate their after effects. Natural disasters carry trash into our waters and directly destroy the ecosystems already built in them. What even causes a disaster if we don't create them? Well, sometimes we do. According to Yale Environment 360, climate change is increasingly seen as the cause of natural catastrophes, from floods to famines. But a growing number of scientists are cautioning that blaming disasters solely on climate overlooks the poor policy and planning decisions that make these events much worse. This article goes on to explain that even though climate change is blamed for many natural disasters, there are other factors such as field drains getting removed and the pollutions we create that may be making landslides. However, we can't be fully blamed for these disasters when earthquakes are caused by tectonic plates shifting and hurricanes by the changing water pressure, which are things that we can't stop. How do we stop something we can't fully control? Well, we can't, but we can help the after. As an example, Hurricane Milton, our most recent hurricane, was statistically recorded to have over 20 million gallons of wastewater flooding into the Manatee River, quoted from Environment America. With this wastewater, also is debris and other trash in our waters. An example to help after this occurs is just picking up the trash. Taking time out of your day to help your community after a natural disaster is so important, and as a citizen, it is truly your responsibility. Another way to help with pollution in the water after natural disasters is donating to the ocean and waterway cleanup programs, giving them more resources to do the job of cleaning up for themselves. So, how can our organizations help get more plastic out of our oceans? Well, Have you ever been to a beach and looked around? Obviously, you would see the beautiful ocean, sand, and maybe animals, although it may be common to see animals like birds, fish, crabs, and maybe turtles. With recent and not so recent events, just going to a beach and seeing those animals may not be the case in the future. One of the main causes of this is pollution. According to the National Ocean Service, most of the ocean pollution comes from things that happen on land. Exactly 80% comes from land. This includes many small sources like septic tanks, trucks, cars, and boats. Considering this percentage, that is a lot of stuff we use on a daily basis, and we don't know that it harms us more than we think. But also places like farms, ranches, and forest areas that drop oil that ends up in our oceans. This is something that we may not be able to control, as bad as it still does damage. One way to solve this problem would be to focus on different organizations' waste. According to Sejord Fauser at Forbes, one possibility could be to promote existing plastics, reusing existing plastics. A benefit to this, besides reducing the amount of plastic in circulation, is how recycling plastics creates 30 to 80% less CO2 compared to creating new plastic. Except only 9% of the global plastics is successfully recycled. Another way would be for companies to assign someone or a group of people to track and record plastic usage and waste throughout the company and form ideas on how to reduce it. Additionally, another way would be to support nonprofit organizations that focus on reducing plastic pollution in our oceans. There are plenty of different organizations, including, but not only, Oceanic Society, Plastic Pollution Coalition, Five Gyres, Algalita, and Plastic Soup Foundation. Donating to organizations like these help them continue their efforts and reach their goal faster. So to reiterate, pollution is putting our oceans in a downward spiral. We are doing this by having poor waste management and dumping garbage into anywhere we find. Natural disasters are pulling trash everywhere and misusing all of our beaches and oceans. So we need to use the ways we've talked about to stop pollution. And think, next time you drive your car, hear about tornadoes and hurricanes on your TV, and our poor waste management, just think about how our future will be if we don't take precautions to change it for the better.